Welcome back to episode 10 of the FullRange Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Johnson. It's good to kind of see or talk to you guys this week. We got a great episode. First of all, we are presented by the Old Walls House Podcast with Jordan Wollenberg. Please give him a listen. This week episode, I was actually on his podcast this week talking a little NFL, NFL playoffs, NFL firing of coaches, things like that. So that episode dropped on Tuesday, I believe. Our good friend from the pod, Billy Gardner, was also on the podcast this week at the Old Walls House Podcast, talking a little Green Bay Packers as well. Both Wally and him are big Packer fans, so please give them a listen. Wally does a lot to support our FullRange Podcast here, so definitely give him some love, give him some likes, give him a listen, especially if you're into the NFL and sports and all sorts of different things there too as well. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. It has been a really fun first 10 episodes, so I can't believe we're already on 10. Thank you so much for all the likes and shares and comments and coming up to, in public and at work and things like that, and giving me some praise or, making fun or whatever it might be. But I'm super excited. We've been putting out some reels on Instagram at the FullRange Pod. So if you're looking for us on Instagram, that's where we do most of our posting. You can give us a listen. Obviously, if you're listening to us on Spotify, we're on Spotify. We're also on YouTube. So you can find us on there. On YouTube, if you search FullRange Podcast, FullRange being all one word, easy to find us. Or if you go to the Old Walls House Podcast page, we're on there as well. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well, at the FullRange Pod. We don't do much on Twitter. I post the links for the YouTube and Spotify links most weeks. But most of the time, Spotify and YouTube and Instagram are kind of the main three where you're going to see some stuff. So definitely, I appreciate you guys. We had a reel last week get over 1,000 views, and obviously I can't do that without you guys watching it and sharing it or liking it, or even on TikTok on my personal page. I post a lot of the reels that we put out as well. So definitely follow us on there, like it, share it, give us a listen. I appreciate you guys very much. So today we have a really good episode. I'm super excited. We're going to do a We Rank It segment with Jordan Wollenberg, Billy Gardner, and Jordan Clark. We're going a little back to reality here with, work, school starting up after the holidays. And we got talking as a group, and we started talking about school lunches one day. And I thought, what a great thing for all us older folks, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond, to think back of all those really great lunch days in high school, middle school, elementary school, sitting around the table with all your buddies and friends, and having some of the best meals. I mean, obviously, like health-wise, it's probably not the best thing, but we're going to kick it old school and go into a little nostalgia for us all this week. And we're going to rank the top 5 best school lunches. It should be really interesting. This is one where I don't feel any confidence of knowing maybe what Bill and Wally and Clarky will go with here. So I got my list. We'll see how it goes. It could probably change. So another thing we're going to talk about, a little workout wisdom really quick in our opener here. We're also going to talk a little music today. And your host, Matt Johnson here, celebrated a birthday the other day. I mentioned it last week on the pod, and I misspoke. So that's where we'll start right there. Last week, when I mentioned that it was going to be my birthday next week, I could not remember for the life of me how old I was going to be. Like, it was kind of mind-blowing afterwards, where I was like, why the hell did I stumble over that so bad? Am I getting that old? Like, that I can't remember my birthday, or just it doesn't mean anything anymore? And I kind of felt like a dumbass when I couldn't think of how old I was. I said 37. I am not 37, guys. I am 36. So I have no fucking clue what I was talking about. Yeah, I turned 36 on Tuesday. I basically, it's been like every other birthday, I feel like, for the last decade or so. I always tell people jokingly that when I turned 27, it was kind of like the first birthday that didn't matter. And not that I'm not happy to be alive and happy to be here and, have a birthday. I think it's special. But that was the first birthday where I literally went to work, came home, had dinner, went to bed, and really didn't do anything special. May have had a treat or something after dinner, which isn't a not normal thing. I probably do that every day. But yeah, 36, the big 36 this year. I can't believe it. I don't feel that old. I don't know. There's some days where I feel that old, but I feel pretty good for 36, I think. So that's exciting, I guess. Knock on wood here. Yeah, so basically on Tuesday, it was another school day, day 4 back from the break. We are under 100 days left already of school. Went to work, had a good day at work, immediately busted ass right to the gym. Got a quick workout in, a good little run, just a quick one. And then we had a game. We were actually in the hometown of Towanda here. We ended up winning the varsity game, which was a good test for us. I thought Towanda played really well, but it was exciting. It was a good birthday. Came home, kind of got off the game high, coming down from all the emotions of everything, and went to bed, really, and watched a little film on our next opponent, which is today. So, excited to get back in the gym and keep grinding. This is the time of the season where it's, game practice, day off. So yeah, the birthday was great. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys about is our workout wisdom this week. So, the birthday ended, and but a couple days before the birthday, Sunday, I was watching football in the afternoon after I watched a couple hours of some basketball film in the morning, and I was a little stressed, a little anxious, and I was just like, I got to get up and move a little bit. I can't just be this couch potato today. I've been trying to get back into the grind of things, going to the gym and, doing some cardio and trying to lose the 5 or 6 pounds that I think I gained over the last month or so. And so I was like, I'm just going to go for a run. So went for a run, and my goal was, all right, if I can get a 5K in, like that's probably better than I wanted it to be. But at least I did something. If I don't get to 3.1 miles, it is what it is. But I did something. And so I was, a little stressed, a little anxious. Let's go for a run. So get ready, start going for a run. Mile 1 hits, and I am dogging it. I'm probably a pace of 11-minute miles. It wasn't great. But I was like, all right, this feels okay. It's cold, whatever. Just keep going. Get to mile 2, and I was about to be ready to just be done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was done. And mentally, I was like, I wasn't in pain. I wasn't tired. I just didn't want to do it. I was almost bored of the run. But I just said, all right, 1 more mile, you can be done. So I push through, I get to 3.1, and I go, I still feel okay. Knee and ankles a little bothering me, whatever. But I'm like, all right, I keep going. Let's keep going. So I pushed on a little bit farther. 3.5 miles come by. All right, feel okay. Let's get to 4. Why not get to 4? So I get to 4 miles, and that's when I was like, let's see how far I can go. Why not? Let's do this damn thing today. So I got to mile 4, and I was like, all right, should I stop now? No, let's keep going. 4.5 miles comes in. Now I'm starting to get a little all right, my body's feeling a little beat up. I was like, all right, my plan was 3.1. I'm at 4.5. This is a good day. I can jot this down as I did something on a day off that I wasn't really planning on doing, and, I'm better for it. But I was like, let's just keep going. So I get to mile 5, and then the thoughts get in my head. I'm like, maybe I can just bust out an hour run here. So I ended up running 6 miles. And by mile 6, I was starting to think, I'm like, can I just keep going? And like, my body felt good. I was a little at peace with it. My pace was better. I think I finished with like a 9.5, 10-minute mile, which, starting with 11 or so, like the last couple miles, I was probably in the high 8s, which is, it's not fast, but a decent pace. And I started really thinking, I actually ended up texting the coaches and players, excuse me, the coaches and players on the basketball team. And I sent them a long message of basically the same thing I was just telling you guys. I ended up posting on Instagram as well, about pushing through limits. And so many times our brain tells us like, all right, we're done. Or our job tells us like, I did my job, I can relax now. Or, a lot of aspects in life, our brain's a pretty powerful thing, and it'll just tell you to stop or quit or you're tired. Like, that's enough. And that was one of those moments. And I have a few, I think, going through life, especially in the workout part of my life, where if I just do one more rep, or if I just run that extra mile, or even if it's just one extra minute of something, I could probably go even farther. So, one of the things that I mentioned to them is when you're beat up and your body wants to quit, your mind wants to quit, you have so much more to give, so much more. Our body is like the weakest little thing, and it will tell you, please stop. I don't want to do this anymore. But that's when you got to keep going. And it was such a cool run for kind of being miserable throughout most of it. And all I could think about was like, I got through something right there that a lot of people would have just been satisfied with. Like, I could have been just satisfied with that 2 miles. I could have been satisfied with just the 3 and said, hey, I met my goal today. But it was really exciting. And, this sounds corny, but to beat a goal is it's so much fun, especially when you don't want to do it. And so many people always say, well, I went to the gym today and I felt so much better afterwards. It's the same feeling. But my challenge to all of you listeners would be like, find your limit in whatever aspect of your life, your parenting, your relationship, your work, your physical, mental health, whatever it might be. Whenever you get to a point where you're like, that's it for today, just go a little bit more. And that's my challenge to all of you guys. So that's a little workout wisdom today. So, and if you don't get there, or you push past your limits and something goes terribly wrong, we're here for you. You got people rooting for you, and it's okay to make mistakes. So keep pushing, keep grinding, and we'll be here to support you on the FullRange Podcast. And I'll be very honest, one of the things that really got me through is some good music. So even sometimes when you're doing things, cleaning the house or whatever, you don't feel like it, bust out some tunes. That can really kind of inspire, it might even be a little bit of a cheat code. And man, I had some good bumps going in the ears that day. Like, I was even like singing by the mile 4, 5, 6. I was like, let's go. Like, I was ready to keep going. So I actually ended up having a thought of, can I train for a half marathon again? Which I did maybe a decade ago now. I even had that thought, which I don't want to do. So I'm probably not going to do that. But there was a small moment where I was like, I can get to 13. But I wasn't going to do that on Sunday. But speaking of music, I got to throw some love out of, and I haven't talked about music much on this podcast, but I'm a big music lover. And not only in my workouts, but just throughout the day. If I have any moments in the car, or even sometimes when I'm like doing something online, watching film, I'll even put some music in the background sometimes. And I got to give some love to my favorite artist. His name's Noah Khan. in case some of you guys probably know, some of you listeners might know that he's my favorite artist. It's phenomenal. If you love songwriting, I don't know how you can't love Noah Kahan. So it's Kahan. It's not like some weird. It's kind of a weird spelling. I shouldn't say it's not a weird spelling, but a lot of people pronounce it Noah Kahan or something like that. It's Khan. I encourage all of you guys to give him a listen. So if you haven't heard of Noah Kahan before, he's basically like, if I always compare him, if like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Hozier, and I don't know, like Mount Joy, if you've ever heard of them, and like Zach Bryan had a baby together, it would be Noah Kahan. But I honestly think, Taylor Swift is great in her own aspect with her songwriting abilities. I think Zach Bryan is right there with everybody, even though, a lot of people hate him now with the Brianna chicken fry thing. But Noah Kahan is right there for me in songwriting. But for me, he's the best songwriter that I've heard maybe in my lifetime, if you really, really give him a listen. He's got great music. So if you have heard of him, you've probably heard a lot of his hits. He kind of blew up last year with the record Stick Season. He came out with an album named Stick Season as well. Northern Attitude was on that album that he dropped as a single. And Dial Drunk was another really popular one with fans, and it kind of hit the charts a little bit, especially with his featured with Post Malone. So Post Malone was on the Dial Drunk record as well. So those were three really popular ones. But really, like, Stick Season's great. It's kind of legendary to me, so it'll always be kind of in like a top 10 for me of Noah Kahan songs. But that whole album of Stick Season is fantastic. There's really, really, really not a bad song on there. I mean, you got songs like Halloween, which no one talks about. It's fantastic. Growing Sideways is on there. It's so good. All My Love is a really, really good one as well. And those are just some of his new ones. And not a lot of people knew him. And I probably started listening to him maybe 4 or 5 years ago, just very sparingly. Love the song. Always in my top 5. He has a song called Maine. Fantastic. False Confidence is an old one that I really, really enjoy. And what's most exciting, if you give him a listen, he's starting to tease some new music. So he's been dropping a couple, I don't want to call them, maybe teasers, I guess, of some new music that he's been working on. He does a lot of Instagram lives sometimes where he'll play parts or all of his new stuff that he's working on. And, he'll change lyrics by the time sometimes it drops on albums. But he's so good. He has a song on his live album. He actually ended his last tour in Fenway Park. Very big show, sold out. And he dropped that whole live, or at least most of the live, onto an album on Spotify. If you look it up, it's Live at Fenway. And it's so good. He teases he doesn't, I guess I could call it a tease. He teases the new song Pain is Cold Water. He does about half of it. And then it flows into, when it ends, it flows into the old song Maine. Chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss. He's just fucking incredible. But he's teased a new song called Doors, which he's really starting to put out. I wouldn't be surprised by summer if that's like a single that he drops. But I'm really hopeful for new Noah Kahan music within the next 10 months, or a new album, which would be even better. So if you haven't given him a listen, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you like any of those artists, like the Lumineers, Taylor Swift, Zach Bryan, trying to think of other guys that he really like, even like lesser known guys like Sam Barber. There's so many good ones. He's like the epitome of all of them. Like he's fucking incredible. So even if you don't love the music, just listen to the lyrics. Like just listen to him and read the lyrics. It's incredible the work he does. So shout out Noah Khan because he's awesome. And he gets me through a lot of workouts. And it's not like headbanger. It's not metal. It's not classic rock. It's not your rap. It's not your typical stuff. But man, he hits the feels and he gets you going once in a while. So if you haven't, check him out. It's fantastic. So with that, we're going to bring in Mr. Jordan Wollenberg from the Old Walls House podcast. We're going to bring in my good friend, Billy Gardner. We're going to bring in a lot of times from the Coach's Corner and a good friend of mine, Jordan Clark. We're going to bring them in right now. And again, we're going to kick it old school, a little nostalgia here. We are going top 5 best school lunches of all time. It's going to be a fun one. We might even slip in a little college football playoffs talks for all you Penn State fans out there. We're just going to kind of shoot the shit here and have some fun. And I hope you guys keep listening. So we're going to bring them in right now, and we'll see you in a minute. All right. Here they are. So shut your mouth, Bill. All right. We're live with the boys for the next We Rank It segment. We're ranking the top 5 best school lunches of all time. But before we do that, how's everybody doing?
Fantastic. You sound a whole hell of a lot better than last time we did this.
I appreciate that. Got a new mic for Christmas, man.
I know. We talked all about it on Monday.
Yeah, I know. Bill, Clarky, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good, MJ. How are you?
I'm great.
The
Clarky?
new setup does look nice.
Thanks.
Professional.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. You should see around me. It doesn't look professional. Clarky, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Currently sitting on the floor. All the pets are away, so that's nice. So I have a little bit of time to myself.
News for the podcast listeners. Newly engaged Jordan Clark. Right. Newly engaged. Give it up. Yeah, shout out, Clarky.
Congratulations.
Clarky. I did it.
Congratulations. Appreciate it. Let's dive right in. So we're going to do, I know to Bill's delight, we're going to talk a little college football playoffs quick. We got Clarky here, so I want to make sure we got his thoughts on the game for tonight and tomorrow. Tonight's game, number 5, Notre Dame playing Penn State. The spread at -1.5, the over-under 45.5. So, Clarky, we can start with you. Wally, Bill, if you want to chirp it, anything in. I know, Wally, you're a Penn State fan, so can get your thoughts on it as well a little bit too. Clarky, what do you think about this game tonight?
Whenever I think about Penn State games, I'm always the anti-Penn State. I hate them so much. I always think they're gonna win. That's my mantra. They're gonna win. Why Notre Dame, man, they looked really good. I think Notre Dame has the better quarterback in Riley Leonard. Drew Aller's fine, but I really do think that Riley Leonard is the guy that's going to win the big game. And Drew Aller's never done it before. Abdul Carter's is a game time decision. That's a big deal. If he can play and put pressure on Leonard, that's going to make a hell of a lot of a difference. I mean, Penn State's defensive line versus Notre Dame's offensive line, in my opinion, where the game's going to get won or lost. I don't think Penn State's going to score more than 17 points, but can Notre Dame score 17 points? So, personally, I think it's going to be a rock fight. I like the under. I think Vegas did a really good job with their line, both with putting Notre Dame, whatever it is, -1, -1.5, and that 43 points. That's about what I would see it to be at. If I was to bet on anything, I would only bet the under because I have no idea who's going to win this football game. It should be a really good game. A lot of history between these two teams. And it's kind of cool. You'll get your first African-American head coach in the national final, regardless, because both of them are. But, I mean, if I had to make a pick, I would take Notre Dame just because I think they're riding the momentum. And I don't know if Penn State can win a big football game, but they're both going to travel. It should be an exciting football game.
Anything from you guys?
I actually think Penn State wins. And I'm a Penn State fan, and I'm very negative usually on them, especially in big games. I expected them to get to this point. And at some point this week, my mind has changed over from they were going to lose this to they're going to win. I think their run defense is going to give Notre Dame problems, and they're going to make Riley Leonard has to throw the ball. So I think that gives them a chance to win if their offense can do something. But I will not be surprised if there is a heartbreaking loss with terrible game management coming down the stretch from one James Franklin.
Yeah, I mean that's always a big thing. Interesting fact there, Clark. I had no idea that would be the first time an African American coach would be in the championship game.
Looking for their first ever national championship. Yeah,
that's insane to me for some reason. I don't know. That's wild.
Going on that too, real quick. Freeman coach than Franklin is. I will debate any. Freeman's a great football coach, man. Plus his wife.
Is there a debate about that?
Hell yeah, Clarky. Hell yeah.
Dude, you go on any social media network and James Franklin's the greatest coach of all time.
Excuse me? James Franklin's a fucking idiot.
Well, besides Penn State fans, because that's how you guys always act nonstop. The world's falling and we suck and we're 11-2. Boo-hoo us. You go win 10 freaking games every year.
Come to Penn State.
They play the Sisters of the Poor.
The Big
That's true.
Conference in football? I don't know.
They play Northwestern every year.
Oh, no. Shots fired.
Good one.
Shots fired.
Good one. Go to Northwestern.
I don't know. I don't know about this game, man. The only thing that tells me something is everyone seems to be on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So that scares me. And we talked kind of before we got on here about the line movement. I mean, it's been stuck at that 2.5 and mostly 1.5 forever. And that kind of tells me, I don't know. This feels like a decent spot for Penn State a little bit. Where's the game being played?
Orange Bowl.
Miami. Yeah, Orange Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, getting 2 wins under their belt going into this game, have some, and so does Notre Dame, but kind of blowout games, not really having to really deal with, I understand, but I don't know, some things in Penn State's favor, I think.
Well, you can argue then that Notre Dame is in better shape because they played harder teams.
Yeah, you're right. Or maybe they're a little beat up, but so's Penn State. Everybody's fucking hurt this time of year, but
yeah,
I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably just cheer for no one, I think, is probably my goal in this one. Bill, do you have any thoughts on this at all?
I have no thoughts.
I love it, dude. You're the man.
I'll tell you
You're
what,
the man.
I'm going to school if Penn State wins on Friday. Personally, I won't be able to take it. I won't be able to take it down here. No way.
All right, so tomorrow, Ohio State -5.5 versus Texas. You have the 6 seed and the 3 seed going at it over under 53.5. I'm very hopeful that the Buckeyes can get to the national championship game. So, Clarky, tell me if I'm going to be happy after Friday night or very sad.
These, in my opinion, these are the 2 best teams left in the whole thing. You have Ohio State has a very good defense. Texas has the top defense technically as far as 5 stars and first round picks, all that stuff in the country. But they got shredded by Arizona State. Ohio State is clicking right now. Will Howard is clicking right now. But with that all being said, I definitely would take Texas at +5.5. I think I'm going to take Texas to win this game outright. I think it's 2 really good offenses versus 2 really good defenses. I have no idea about the over-under because it could be a 14-10 game, but it also could be a 35-30 game. Because what's going to be better, the defenses or the offenses? I don't know. I would definitely stay away from the over-under, but I would take Texas to cover. I'm going to take Texas outright, though I do hope Ohio State wins.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm hopeful for that too. My biggest concern is going into Michigan, there was all the Ohio State's, going to roll Michigan. They're clicking, they're going to do this, and they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game. And then they go and lose to Michigan, and everybody was like, Ohio State fucking sucks. They're done, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden they really dominate throughout the playoffs so far. And now everybody's like, well, there they are. Here, they're going to win every game. They're the best team. You better watch out, Texas. And that tells me, Texas has a great chance to win this game. I just feel like every time everybody hypes up one, they lose. So I'm really concerned about it.
I'll tell you right now, one thing that people need to be weary of that bet is that Ohio State has looked so good these last 2 weeks. I'm telling you, Michigan has a very good defense. Tennessee's defense is okay. Oregon's defense has been shredded all year. Idaho put up 21 points on them. Oregon's defense is very athletic and causes turnovers, but they give up big plays nonstop. And that's what Ohio State feasted on. Texas does not.
Yeah, I'm fucking scared. Wally, Bill, anything?
No.
Ohio State, lay the points. Best team, best talented team, and the most talented team in the country.
All right. That made me feel a little bit better.
I don't know why. I'm a fucking idiot.
I don't know. It's just nice to have somebody on your side once in a while.
Best running back duo for sure, but
Yeah.
all-around team, I don't know.
Yeah.
Texas is pretty athletic.
Quinn Ewers is going to have to not play well for Ohio State to win, I think.
Another key thing, too, is our Texas 2 offensive linemen that got hurt. What was it? I can't remember who they got hurt against. It was their week 1 game. Are they back? That got the concussion in their center. Those 2 are back and their line's back to full tilt? That's scary.
Yeah, it should be fun, though. So all the Penn State fans out there and me as the Ohio State fan, I hope maybe we get a Big Ten championship for a national championship. I doubt it. It's probably going to be fucking Notre Dame and Texas. But so let's get started with this thing. We've spent enough time on the college football playoffs. We're going to go a little nostalgia here. Top 5 best school lunches of all time. Now, when we do this, boys, we're going peak school lunch. All right. Say that again.
Pre-Michelle Obama. Before she
Yeah, this is like
no
cream of the crop, fresh, the best school lunch ladies, the lunch man, whatever it may have been. All right.
Look, I forgot about this.
This is peak. So it doesn't matter if the peak of it was in elementary school, high school, middle school, doesn't matter. We're going to give our top 5. So we'll start with Bill. Bill, do you have any honorable mentions that you want to just throw out? Maybe 1 or 2 that you were like, just off the list, but damn, was it good?
I wrote down 2 things as my honorable mention. And they fell to honorable mention because they're not actual lunches. But I like to cap off every lunch with a slushie and some Scooby snacks.
It was.
So that is my honorable mention.
Okay. A slushie? What kind of slushie, though?
I think I usually went with a mix.
That slushie machine was pretty good back in the day.
I don't know if they have it anymore, do they?
I think at the high school maybe, but they may have gotten rid of that too. I don't, with COVID or some shit too. They may have been like, we don't want cups touching the same thing. I don't know. Who knows? All right, Clarky, what do you got for an honorable mention?
First of all, I knew Scooby Snacks would be mentioned today. I didn't know. I was assuming it would be by Bill, but I knew it was coming. All right, so I got 3. Man, all of these lunches were great. I was a huge, huge fan of school lunches, and a lot of people bitched about them. I loved them. All right, so I got grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. Usually on a Monday, especially time. Get some crackers in that, dip it in, let it sit in there for a while. Get it. Oh man, I loved a grilled cheese. I got taco day in there. Not a huge taco guy, but I did like to just mix it all up, all the lettuce and all the condiments and the meat and stuff. And then I have, this one kind of broke my heart. It didn't quite make my top 5, but I just couldn't put it above anything else. I did the old traditional turkey and gravy day. Got the turkey and gravy, the roll, maybe some of that cinnamon applesauce and or the apple, whatever the hell it was called there. Also, you got it. Also, all of mine involve chocolate milk, not vanilla milk.
Okay. Chocolate milk, the goat. All right. So for me, before we get to Wally here, my honorable mentions, it's a new one. And, for the listeners out there, we were kind of going through the monthly lists of kind of school lunches before this. General Tso's chicken. It's a new one. It's pretty good, fellas. It's not bad. You get some General Tso's chicken. You get some rice. You get
That's
broccoli.
good as Cambo?
No. But for a school lunch, man, it's not bad. There's a little kick to it, and I'm surprised they serve it to kids because kids don't normally like spicy shit, but it's not bad. It's a day where I don't pack a lunch. anymore. I'm like, I'm going to get some General Tso's and some rice. So that's one of mine. Another one of mine was hot dog with fries and chili. The days it came with the chili, it was like, kind of that Monday-ish meal, starting your week with just that like boiled, watered hot dog. And then that cup of chili and the French fries. And French fries now, compared to back then, aren't even close. Back then, the French fries were actually decent and really good. My last honorable mention was the mac and cheese day. The mixed veggies as a side, fantastic. The old school pretzels that they give you were soft, not like a pretzel stick that we get now.
I forgot all about the pretzels.
Yeah, dude, clutch. And the macaroni and cheese, man, back in the day was fucking awesome. It was so much better. It's not bad now, but not near as good as it once was. So mac and cheese was just off my list. That was kind of battling for number 5. All right, Wally.
I put this on here. The rolls specifically are going to make my honorable mention. Those rolls were fantastic. Just slather them with butter. Cheese-filled breadsticks. You guys remember the cheese-filled breadsticks? I was a big fan of those.
Pizza sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
I don't remember the names. All right. And then expanding on Bill's, I just put the cart in the back of the cafeteria where you could get all the ice creams, like this, where you got the Scooby snacks. Like I just think back on it today. They put a vending machine on a cart and just wheeled it in there every day, and we're like, just go fucking crazy. I had a fudgesicle, or like they made the strawberry and the chocolate ones that were like, there was like little nuts on the outside, and then you could get the king cones back there too. Like what an absolute fucking unit of a cart that thing was.
What a great time to be alive. You know what I mean?
It was awesome.
Oh my God, it was so good.
One thing, and this doesn't exactly relate to the food, but if you had your period right before lunch and you were on the 3rd floor, that was the worst. Because then you had to like sprint down the stairs so you didn't end up at the back of the line, or you just had to bully people out of the way, which is also, something probably done by a few people in this group.
So can I add on to the cart real quick? So we were all in different classes except for Bill and I. Dude, it was a routine every single day. So like I sat next to Bill. I had Adam Harris across from me. I had Kyle Warner next to me. Jake Lamphere. We got the same shit from that cart pretty much every single day. You come back, here's Bill with his slushie and his Scooby snacks. Every day I got that cone. I didn't like the nuts, so I'd cut the top off and give it to Adam, and he had 4 different freaking desserts on his thing. Every day Warner would come back with a bag of chips and eat those. I just thought it was so funny how every day everybody had pretty much the exact same snack.
I think I just realized that my obsession with a sweet treat following a meal started in high school at the snack bar.
It might have.
Dude, they groomed us just to like, you need a treat after lunch and dinner and breakfast every single time.
There was the real like baller move was that if like when I was a junior and senior, our lunch period was the first one. It was at like 11 o'clock. But then there was like a lunch period that like started at like 12:45. You swing back down there. You get a pass, come out of class, swing back down to the lunchroom, slide in, hit the cart a second time, head back to class.
Jesus, no wonder we were very heavy people at one point in our lives.
I didn't used to be. I am now.
Yeah, you're all right.
I was groomed.
All right, so let's dive into this thing. Top 5. So, Bill, you're going to start us off at your number 5 spot. We'll go around the horn exactly how we did that time as well. So, what do you got for number 5, Bill?
Number 5, I have the shrimp poppers, and I believe they always came with a cinnamon roll.
Yes.
That one I still, with my mother working in the cafeteria, I still occasionally get the shrimp poppers. She'll just bring me home a giant Ziploc bag full of them, and they are a great snack to go to.
That's a really good one. I was telling Wally, I can't remember if Clark was on here while we were waiting for you, Bill, that the sticky bun, the cinnamon roll, is so bad now.
Ah,
It's so bad now. And I'm not trying to bash anybody, but
okay.
holy shit. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a dried piece of bread with some cinnamon on it.
Well, everything.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
Everything is wheat now.
Yeah, it's not good. The peak sticky bun cinnamon roll was awesome. All right, Clarky, what do you got for number 5?
All right, I'm staying on the same day as Bill. I have the alternate. So my number 5 is the chicken nuggets, preferably with the mashed potatoes, and I have either roll or cinnamon roll.
Okay, not the.
The key is you got to take the roll, have a couple nugs, but then you take the roll, put a little mashed potato on it, put a little chicken nugget on it, slab the whole stick of butter, smash it up, have yourself a sandwich as well.
Damn.
The not spreading the butter, but just smashing the stick in there was the key.
You take off one slab, put it on, let it melt a little bit, take the other slab off, bun.
So that was the alternate day. I don't even remember that being an alternate for the.
Oh yeah, they would do nuggets and shrimp because I don't like shrimp. I don't like seafood. So I'd always go. A lot of people would always go to the shrimp poppers on Fridays.
All right. So that's a really good one. Actually, I didn't even remember that being an alternate. So number 5 for me, I can't remember who mentioned it. For me, it's the Thanksgiving meal. Yeah, it's. I mean, I couldn't keep it out. Thanksgiving meal, turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes. You get the pumpkin pie in there. You get the little cinnamon apple slices.
Little cup of cranberry, tiny little cup.
Yeah, you can't beat it. I know, and it's really like that. They do like chicken and gravy or biscuits or something throughout the year, but that turkey and gravy just hits different. You don't get it very often. That was always and the roll. You can't, like you guys said, you can't forget about the roll. All right, Wally, what do you got for us at your 5 spot?
I'm going to swerve a little bit to start off here. I'm going to go breakfast. I know this is lunch, but I was a big fan of going down to get breakfast. And I'm going with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bowl, as well as a s'mores Pop-Tart from the cafeteria breakfast. Just sugar rush yourself to start the day off.
Dude, I didn't even think. Like, I've thought about breakfast for lunch. I forgot about those s'mores Pop-Tarts, man.
Mm-hmm. And they were in the silver bag, not the plastic colored ones. And they weren't toasted, but they were warm. Like they were like under like a heat lamp or something. Mm-hmm. It was a great way to start the day. Just get in, 4 days worth of sugar content in the first 20 minutes of your school day.
Just spike that blood sugar level and come crashing down later. And then finish yourself off with a slushie later or something. Clarky, what were you going to say?
I don't think I ever went to breakfast once in high school.
We used to do it all the time in yearbook. We would go down to breakfast after breakfast.
In yearbook, we'd get a pass from Wecker and we'd go to the freaking Dandy Mini Mart.
I always went and got breakfast at the cafeteria.
All right.
Wally, we're going to stay right with you.
Oh, we're going to snake draft it?
Now we'll snake draft it. What do you got for 4?
This one's a classic. As much as the first one was a swerve, this one's going to be a classic. That pizza, just a nice square piece of pizza, more of a rectangle, I guess, actually. Just couldn't go wrong. I really enjoyed Pizza Day.
My only problem with Pizza Day, Wally, was the sides weren't great.
I have no recollection of the sides.
Dude, it was always like carrot sticks, cucumbers.
That's why I got my ass back to the cart, MJ.
Yeah, I know. But, the sides do play a big part in all this. All right, for my number 4, we kind of just a little bit talked about it. Breakfast for lunch is my number 4. And maybe it's a little recency bias because it was just today's lunch at school. And I did happen to stumble upon some French toast sticks. And, man, the French toast sticks, you get like some extras. So you get like fucking 8 of them or some shit. And then the sausage patty and the old school hash browns. Now, Clarky, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But the hash browns now are like balls of hash brown. It's weird, man. They're like, I don't even know how to, like 50-cent piece shaped, about a quarter, maybe like a inch high. Like they're like this inch thick 50-cent hash brown. It's weird. It's like mushy. I don't really love it. So the old school hash browns, like the rectangle ones that you get like at McDonald's, and then you get some you get the extra little juice with the orange juice or apple juice and your chocolate or regular milk, man. It's a really good lunch. Clarky, what do you got for 4?
All right, for number 4 for me, I have pizza bread day. Pizza bread usually came with some glazed carrots, and I love glazed carrots, so I was a big fan of oh yeah, I like the pizza bread. Rip it apart, separate your meats a little bit from your bread, dip it in that marinara, hit the glazed carrots afterwards. So I'm going to go with pizza bread at number 4.
Great fucking answer. Bill, what do you got for 4 and 3? You can go both.
Number 4, one you guys have hit, the Thanksgiving dinner. The Thanksgiving one was the best because you got that little tiny square of pumpkin pie that came with it. And then number 3, I have pizza bread.
So, great answers.
And the glazed carrots.
I don't remember the glazed carrots, but I'm sure they were fine. I don't remember what else came with pizza bread either, though.
I just remember the glazed carrots.
I'm assuming a fruit cup of some sort.
Probably.
For sure. With those suspect grapes.
Mushy.
Yeah. All right, Clarky, we're back to you with number 3.
All right, at number 3, I have lasagna with the garlic bread and the corn. Big fan of lasagna day, and call me crazy, but even the next day when they still had the leftovers from the day before, the leftover lasagna, for whatever reason, slapped just as hard as the day before. So I'm going to go, and they also gave you bigger pieces because they want to get rid of it. So
when it was left over, they just throw it at you.
Dude, it was like that much the second day. So I'm going to go lasagna with the delicious garlic bread, non-grain, before Obama, and the corn.
The garlic bread was good.
Yeah.
I forgot about the garlic bread until you said that.
Yep.
That is good. I didn't even have that listed. I probably should have. And maybe that's just like because it's not as good anymore. But, man, that is really good. Number 3 for me is, and Clarky, you mentioned this one, it's chicken nugget day. Like, I know it's like, obviously we're talking about when we were children, but it's such like a child little lunch, but I fucking love it, man. Chicken nuggets, mashed potatoes, and the strawberry shortcake. The bowl of strawberry shortcake, dude.
How about that?
Fucking awesome.
Yes.
It's so good. And like, it was just mounds of strawberries, and you got the big whipped cream. And that was another one too. If there was ever extras, they'd give you kind of an extra bowl, maybe the next day or something like that. Like that strawberry shortcake, I'll still get that. Even if I pack my lunch for work, I'll still be like, ooh, it's strawberry shortcake. Like, I'm going to go ask for one of those.
I forgot all about strawberry shortcake. Yeah,
that's good.
It's goated. All right, Wally, what do you got for number 3 and 2?
Number 3, chicken patty. I really enjoy a good chicken patty. And just a little chicken patty, when you get the mayo from the squirt bottle there at that table, usually just the whole bottle is covered in it because people were too stupid to understand how to use it. So you'd have to go wipe your hands off of this greasy mayo. But the greasy mayo and a greasy chicken patty, nothing like it. Number 2, felt like there was a little disrespect to this one. Pizza bread, too low on some other people's list here. Number 2, pizza bread. I also feel like my top 3 could be almost interchangeable, but my number 2 is pizza bread. Like I said, if it's not the best, it's a close second of all the school lunches, in my opinion. Just fantastic.
With glazed carrots.
Man, I can't say I was too excited about the glazed carrots.
With the glazed carrots. Wally's going up there with his chicken patty. Extra mayonnaise for me, please.
Dude, the thing I didn't like, I would eat the chicken patties, but I hated when you would walk through the doors and that chicken patty smell just hung in the air. It like made it thick air to breathe in there, and it was just that chicken patty smell. I mean, I'd still eat them.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like that.
All right.
Incredible Undercover Brother reference there, by the way.
I appreciate that. The tism is showing. Number 2 for me it's shrimp poppers day. It's so good. You got a ton of shrimp poppers, probably way more than you actually need. a nice little side salad.
Yep.
Nice little side salad. And that sticky bun, man. Like I said before, it's not what it once was, but back in its glory day was so good. Much bigger. Like you just loaded up on that. You didn't need anything else. You were good to go the rest of the day. Clarky, what do you got for number 2?
Number 2, again, pre-change and pre-Obama, I have the original mac and cheese with the veggie medley and soft pretzel with extra fucking salt on it.
That's so good. The mixed veggies, underrated.
They were. The peas and the carrots and whatnot, underrated, yeah. Salt those up, and I doused mine with ketchup. I'm a ketchup on mac and cheese guy.
All right, Bill, bring your list home with your second one and your top lunch of all time.
Number 2, I had the old school mac and cheese with a soft pretzel.
Oh, man.
Just a heap of mac and cheese, and it was like really cheesy back then. I'd load that pretzel up with some mustard. Don't know how much I cared for the vegetable medley, but I'm sure we got through it.
You probably gave it to me.
And then number 1, I'm kind of nervous because I don't think I've heard anyone say this at all, and it's my absolute favorite, was the old school breadsticks and meat sauce.
Somebody mentioned that. Did anybody mention that?
Don't be too nervous, Bill.
We were talking about it before we started, MJ.
Oh, okay. That's what
and
it was.
I didn't have it on, but I had already made my list. It might have, had I not done the cinnamon toast and s'mores Pop-Tart, it might have snuck into the bottom in hindsight.
The breadsticks and meat sauce is one I've continued to receive over the years in a giant Ziploc bag.
It's so good.
It's so.
I forgot it was meat sauce.
Still good.
I forgot that it was meat sauce, not just like a marinara, and that was key. You can hollow them out a little bit.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It was
a tube of meat sauce.
It was one of the saddest days of my life. So here, where we all are from, one of the big field trips for our 6th grade is the 6th grade camp trip, where the whole 6th grade class goes camping. And I'm lucky enough to be able to go and kind of, spend the time and the 3 days that they're camping, just be there as kind of like a chaperone. And one of the saddest days is they have gotten rid of breadsticks with meat sauce at 6th grade camp. And it's so sad. Like now we do like a walking taco instead, which is still good, but it's like, yeah, you always started your day with, you cook the hot dogs over the fire, the first lunch. And then that Thursday lunch was always breadsticks with meat sauce. And you'd eat like 6 breadsticks. It was, but man, that was really, really good. And the breadsticks now aren't as good. But that meat sauce, like with the spaghetti and the lasagna that Clarky was talking about, fantastic.
So the breadsticks come with a side salad?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna get to Clarky here for his number 1. Go ahead, Clarky.
The salad's not on the side. I send it back.
I wonder what it will be. So Bill's one of my best friends for a reason. I really do think that we have very similar palates. My number 1 is breadsticks with meat sauce. I want to talk about the salad. I want to talk about the meat sauce in general. So, first of all, the breadsticks, they would just cake those things back in the day with butter and garlic. It pretty much was like the crazy bread from Little.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The meat sauce was amazing. I'd always ask for an extra cup. They'd give it to me. I was a weirdo. I know everyone's gonna be like, ooh, gross. But I'd always do the meat sauce with all my breadsticks, and then whatever meat sauce I had left, I would dump that into my salad. I don't know if you remember that, Bill.
I do.
And mix it up. It was ranch and meat sauce and salad, and like the ham they had in the side salad. Oh, so good. By far my favorite lunch. We don't have it at my school anymore, but it was breadsticks with meat sauce.
God, it's great.
Still to this day, I think the school salad is really underrated as just a salad. Those big ass pieces of pepperoni, the ham, like it's good. And I'm not a salad guy. Like I think people who get salads for dinner are kind of weirdos.
Yep.
Like a salad is a side or an appetizer. That's what it is. It's not your main course. Order a steak or a burger or chicken or something like that and be a regular person. Don't get a salad. And I also say, so you guys don't think I'm a weirdo, I did list 11 lunches before I broke it down to my 5. And breadsticks with meat sauce is in the top 11. So at least it's in there. It's just,
Number one.
All right. Number one for me, we already mentioned it. I won't spend a lot of time, but I will talk about one of the sides with it. And this is a kind of a weird one. Number one for me is pizza bread. Legendary pizza bread back in the day was awesome. Big hunk of bread, pepperoni, ham, dipped in that marinara sauce. But I really enjoyed, this is a weird one, the peanut butter with celery on the side was one of the legendary sides for those days because it was typically a Friday meal, so they would just do like cucumbers and like simple things. You slab some big-ass scoop of peanut butter on your plate and eat up that celery. It was that sweet treat a little bit at the end of the lunch. So that's my number one, pizza bread. All right, Wally, bring us home, buddy.
Number one word, taco. Taco day was my favorite. I love the taco when they gave you the crusty like bowl and you crunched it up and you mixed it all up. I love taco day.
Boo.
Taco. Me want taco. Boo yourself.
Laura, come here.
Taco day.
I love taco day.
There's no way, dude. That's number one for you?
Taco day was great.
All right.
Break up Wally's thing, but this is my new fiance. By the way,
Yeah, congratulations.
Laura.
on right now. She just walked up, so I just wanted her to get on real quick.
Hell yeah. Congratulations, Laura.
Sweet.
All right, boys. I can't believe we just ended on Taco Day, but
Taco day was the best, man.
Not top.
Yeah. Maybe top 10, but maybe.
Was the tomato soup mentioned at all?
Yeah.
Clarky mentioned it.
Was that your? Okay, so it didn't make my list, but I have a problem with the school's tomato soup. Let me just run you through this. So senior year, I think I tallied about 90 plus tardies. So about every 3 or 4 days, I would have in school or the detention, the half-hour lunch detention, whatever it was. So I would have to be up there about once a week or twice a week. And then I think the detention people had to come down after. Everyone was about halfway through their meal.
You had to your shame, dude.
Yeah, it was like the walk
Walk
shame.
in, everyone's sitting there. And when I would walk in, our table was like right here at the front, and everyone's hooting and hollering and pointing at you. But I came in the one day, and it was tomato soup and grilled cheese. I go up, I get my stuff. I'm leaving to go back to detention. And a young girl named Nicole is on a beeline for the trash can. She pays no attention to anything going on around her. She doesn't look at me. She doesn't stop. She doesn't hesitate. I'm assuming at some point she's going to slow down and maybe recognize this giant young man barreling towards her. Neither one of us break off. We run directly into each other, and she dumps hot tomato soup all over my chest and stomach. So I had to... No one does anything. No one even reacts to this. I'm standing there, just don't know what to do. Looking around, no one knows what's happening. I just had to gather my things and walk out. So most of my lunch ended up on the floor. I just left to go clean myself up. And I believe I had to wear someone else's sweatshirt the rest of the day with no shirt underneath. Just a hoodie loaned to me by someone else. So I got a problem with the tomato soup.
I got to add 2 things to that.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure why balloons are popping.
I have no idea.
It's a congratulations.
All right, number 1, that was not Bill's only run-in at lunch.
That's what I was thinking.
James. Let's make that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to get into it, but there was a fart. And secondly, we also don't need to get into detail on this, but Bill, I thought for sure that turkey hoagie would have made your top 5.
I didn't mind the turkey hoagie.
Okay.
The turkey hoagie was fine.
All right.
The turkey hoagie soaked in fruit cocktail was not my favorite.
One time you couldn't eat your turkey hoagie, could you?
No, I had frustrated a very lovely young lady. She's great. But I had frustrated her to the point where she didn't know what to do to get back at me because I was being a smartass. And I got to say, it was probably the best play. She made it so I couldn't eat my lunch.
The only words that Bill, he looked me dead in the eyes. The only words, I guess I'm not having lunch today.
Yeah.
You know, while I was crying, laughing, listening to all these stories, like when you were telling your story, Bill, all I could think about is all the memories came back of all, like Clark just did, like all the memories of like the stories in that lunchroom, dude. You've had some run-ins in that old lunchroom. some really classic moments, man.
It was bro time. It really was.
Oh,
were you guys? I
know what one you're talking about now too, MJ. I was accosted.
Yeah.
All right, now I know what
you've had some run-ins in that fucking lunchroom, dude.
We're talking about the volleyball football thing, right?
I think that might have been a different one.
Oh, the district championship ones.
In the lunchroom was probably when I was most vulnerable. So really, really focused on that tray.
Yeah.
Were any of you guys in school? I want to say I was like a sophomore. Maybe I'm misremembering the year. When there was the giant brawl in the lunchroom.
No.
Maybe it was my senior year. There was a massive brawl by like two of the they called themselves gangs. And they sat in the back corner by the stairs. And there was this really weird looking kid, and I forget what everybody called him. Very thin, very pale, bleach blonde hair. And at one point, so you remember all the circle tables were back by the stairs on each side? There was a big fight broke out. Everyone in the cafeteria started to stand on the tables to watch it. One young man ran up to the stairs, climbed onto the railing of the stairs, launched himself into the brawl, got smoked in the face by someone trying to pick a chair up, and one of the chair legs caught him in the face. He goes down. About 3 minutes later, you see him run out, covering his face with blood pouring out. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. It went on for a good 15 minutes. The school police officer was not able to rein it in.
My grade were all friends. See, the circle chairs didn't come into play until your senior year, I'm pretty sure. We just had nothing but straight rectangular. Like, so we all
okay. Then might have been my senior year then.
Yeah. Dude, now I just can't stop thinking of lunchroom stories. Like, I'm just thinking, oh my God.
The one time that your junior year, MJ, when I don't know if you were in the room, but when we had the dodgeball rivalry between Red Raiders and the Pain Train, when the food fight broke out, when Brad Lance threw a carrot at us before our big matchup, and we went back and forth, and they came over and did the Pain Train dance to us. Dude, so many good stuff. So many good
I'm thinking of one. I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but maybe if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, but I'm thinking of one with somebody being chased in from outside of the lunchroom into the lunchroom. I'll have to tell you guys off the air on this one. So
there's also one I'm not going to say in the air. I'm just going to say it had to do with a pole and a stationary, the stationary poles, the big brick poles in the middle, and someone running into that.
Shut up and sit down. All right. That's all right. We're gonna end it right there, boys. Maybe we can even do a full episode of us just shooting the shit about old funny shit from high school or something. But I appreciate you guys very much. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. I want to thank Jordan Clark, Billy Gardner, Jordan Wollenberg for joining us today. Anything else for the greater good, boys? All right.
I got nothing.
Check out the YouTube channel.
Yes. Don't forget Old Wall's House podcast as well. All right. We'll see you, boys. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Peace.
See you, fellas.
All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody listening today. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did in the Rank It segment with Billy and Clarky and Wally. It was so much fun. I was literally crying laughing. So I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Full Range Podcast. We try to throw in some fun, some seriousness, and things like that throughout these weeks. Episode 10 is in the books. Again, follow us on Instagram at the Full Range Pod, Twitter at the same handle. Check us out on YouTube at Old Wall's House Podcast. Check his podcast out as well. And also check us out on Spotify. Give us a like, give us a share. I'll be trying to post some reels and things for this episode in the coming days and from the episode. So if you're seeing us sparingly, give us a like, give us a share, and see if we can beat those views from a couple videos last week. Again, have a great week. Next week, we'll have another great episode for you as well, and I'm looking forward to it. Have a great week, everybody. Love you very much.